This is Ceratosaurus, an armored, fast, and brutish carnivore that can take out almost anything in a 1v1. So, that's my opponent. And now you've got me, a guy just using a big turkey, essentially. And my key to victory? Well, it more so comes to a mistake that the Cerato makes, not me. And I'll show you when that mistake happens exactly. I'll also go over my thought processes, my personal mistakes, and how this fight could have turned out differently. So, starting the replay, I start to push and make an ambush for the Cera. I get off a claw hit on his tail, which doesn't do much damage and alerts him to my presence, so in other words, this ambush was more or less obsolete. The Cera immediately makes a great counterattack, stalling for time until he can get a thrash and juke off of me, which drains about a fifth of my health, giving him a great HP advantage. I continue to push, trying to get off damage with my rapid strikes, which at this point I have gotten up to max stacks, so my DPS is very high. The Cera breaks off and makes a pretty interesting play to get distance between me and him, which I take advantage of by popping my stamina debuff call to get his damage a little lower. It's important to know that even though the Cera is running away, he still technically should be able to win. Like there with his thrash, he takes another fifth of my health and I'm almost a half. Fortunately, the Cera does not take notice and gets to a critical point in the fight. There. This is the exact moment that the Cera has lost the fight, and I'll show you why. What the Cera just used was a move called Taunt, which reduces his incoming damage and debuffs my speed, which sounds great on paper, but this ability also locks you in place and stops you from using any active abilities, which means he can't juke or turn around, leaving me free to tail ride him. As you can see in the fight, the taunt in reality is more of a detriment than an aid, and this Cera is gonna suffer the full consequence, because now he's at around 30% health, while I have kept my health around 60, turning my glaring health disadvantage into an advantage due to his critical mistake. Now the Cera really needs to run, because he no longer can win this fight. He's lost too much health. However, I've got enough stam and health to keep fighting. The Cera tries to juke around and bite me, however, I simply bite him on the thigh and bring him down to 20% health, which does activate Berserker, but unfortunately at this point, it won't do him much good besides let him know that the inevitable is coming. He makes one last turn around and run for the river, but unfortunately I'm too fast, and I end up securing the kill. Now, the point of this fight is not to show how skilled or unskilled he is. This Cera actually overall played pretty well. It's just that one single mistake cost him the actual fight. In fact, if he hadn't used taunt at all, he probably would have won. Like, the health in the beginning of the video is a pretty good indication of how strong Cera is. So, next time you're fighting, remember, always know what the consequences of your mistakes are. Honestly, to this Cera, I would just say, you did really well, but I hope you know not to use taunt next time, because it's not an ability that's worth it. But, as always, I'm Leoron, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a lovely day.